Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to part 4. That's right, part 4 of the Look Finance SEQFC Preview Show, with thanks to our friends at Vilic Law. And tonight we've changed things up. We're talking exclusively about the Sunshine Coast. We've got 3 guests with us tonight, a very green tinge to our guests this evening. We've got Phil Dillon, who's the media manager at the Sunshine Coast Wanderers. Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, Darren. How are you?
Very well. Great to have you on board. And we've got 2 coaches from Beerwah Glasshouse here. We've got Daniel Carew, who is driving his car. We're not going to talk to him until he actually gets home.
I've got a chauffeur. It's fine.
Right. And we've got Cory Robbins, who's the coach of the women's team. G'day, Cory.
How are you?
Good, good. Great to have you on board. All right, so let's get cracking. Phil, let's talk NPL. Let's talk about the Sunshine Coast Wanderers. What a difference 2 signings can make, eh? Tyson Holmes and Mitch Cooper. The side was gone, and now you're looking at survival and possibly even mid-table obscurity.
Absolutely. Thank God for COVID, they say. Not many people would have said that, I don't think, but it's definitely been a breath of fresh air with those 2 coming in. Tyson's is a quality player. He's been a quality player for a number of years, and as soon as he came back on the coast, you could see that he hadn't lost anything that he hit, that people would have seen that when he was playing for the Sunshine Coast Fire. And Mitch Cooper is just a bundle of energy. Very nice young man, and obviously a great pedigree from a very young age, coming in when he was like the youngest skipper of an A-League side at Gold Coast United.
And you told us just before we went to air tonight that you've bolstered your ranks again.
Yeah, Ryan Love, fullback, centre-back from also from the Fire from back in the day from Sunshine Coast. So another local boy, which is a good thing. I think that Paul Arneson he's been lucky in some respects that the Victorian NPL has been forced to shut down, but he's been unlucky in other respects that the only reason he's got these players in is because of injury replacement. So you win some, you lose some. Ezekiel Hawkins is out for the rest of the season with an ankle injury, I think it is. So Ryan gets a chance to come in. He's been playing down in Victoria, but obviously he hasn't played for the last, I don't know however long it's been, 3 or 4 months. But a very solid defender. I'm sure Daniel will remember him from Fire days. So
yeah, he's good. He's from he was at Whittlesea. Is it Kingston and Whittlesea?
I think it was at Kingston City for a little while. Yeah. So
very good.
Yeah, he looks strong. He looks
good leader.
Yeah, he's a good leader. So the spine, I think the spine is now set in place. With Ryan probably playing the middle of a back 3, I would suggest on the weekend. Tyson at 6, and then Mitch Cooper roving around in that 10 position. And so I think the good thing about these coming in, Darren, is that the younger players in the team are learning heaps off the likes of those 3, plus Sam Knight, who obviously played alongside those Ryan Love and Tyson in the Fire team a few years ago too. So it's a nice blend of experience and youth now, which is hopefully what they will need for the rest of the season.
And of course, with Ryan Love back in Queensland, all the tattoo artists in the area will be rubbing their hands with glee.
I spoke to Chris Dunk, who's he's Sunshine Coast Football, on the board of Sunshine Coast Football. He said he saw Ryan the other day, and his exclamation was similar to yours, the fact that he never was covered in tattoos before, but he certainly kept the Ink Masters happy down in Melbourne, that's for sure.
All right, let's take a look at this weekend's match. You're taking on Peninsula Power, who of course I saw them last weekend against Brisbane City. They got over the line against Brisbane, but I don't think they were terribly convincing, very wasteful. And then last night they played Gold Coast United and had a 1-1 draw. It's a good time to be playing Peninsula Power.
I think so. I mean, I think that Chris Janczewski was rested last night. Daniel know him from the News of the Days. So he was rested, and I think they rested a couple more players. So I think they've got a big enough squad to be able to do that, which is obviously they're going to probably. I think they'll play their strongest side on the weekend. They were wasteful again last night. Arnie told me that when I interviewed him tonight. They drew 1-1 with a last-minute penalty against Gold Coast United, but by the same score, it should have probably been, a few more goals for Penn Power, even with a slightly weakened team. So they're definitely, they could have gone top if they won last night. So they're obviously one of the teams to fear in the league. But Paul Arneson doesn't actually fear them as much as say something like Moreton Bay, who are a bit more physical. So he's looking forward to the challenge against Penn Power because of the way they play football. It suits the Sunshine Coast Wanderers a bit more.
Okay. Now, the Sunshine Coast Fire are travelling to Eric Evans Oval on the Sunday afternoon to take on Ipswich Knights. I know this isn't necessarily the three guests that I have tonight's field of expertise, so I'm going to stick my neck out. I think this is going to be a tough game here for the Fire. The Knights are really good at home. From the little that I have seen from the Fire this season, I think this might be a tough game for them, and I actually predict they might go down in this one. But as we always say on this show, if we make a prediction, prove us wrong. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll see who's got egg on their face next week. Probably me. All right. Now, let's move to the McDonald's Premier Men's Competition. Now, while Daniel's still driving, Cory, I'm going to ask you, Glasshouse had a 2-2 draw against Maroochydore on the weekend, a result that it must be frustrating because both teams really needed the win.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially coming off the, the boys had a really convincing win against them pre-COVID break. A lot of both teams were very strong, had chances. It was disappointing that we'd gone behind, but the character from the Prems lads just to come back and especially get like a last-minute equaliser was fantastic.
And of course, there was a loss on the weekend to Woombye.
Yeah. I'll let DK cover that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, as I said at Channel 7 when they interviewed me as well, I think the biggest thing for me was I couldn't fault the lads because they played really well. I think it's just, we dominated the game, and I think that's football sometimes. You can be the better side, play the better football, create the better chances, and lose. And that's I think that's just part of it sometimes. Look, I felt for the boys because they threw everything at them. They threw the kitchen sink, the whole lot. It just wouldn't go in. And you got to give credit to Woombye. They're a team like that sometimes. They don't play the best brand sometimes, but they dig deep. They work hard for each other, and they just sometimes can scrap out something. And any team that's got Luke Alderson in there, and you give him a sniff, he'll score. And that's why he's been the most potent striker in our league for how long he's been doing it. It is what it is.
Let's talk you through some of the other results there. Kawana had a 3-2 win over Gympie United. Nambour Yandina in a 1-1 draw against Maroochydore, another result that the Swans really needed. And Noosa, they just keep racking up the W's. 2-1 over.
It's theirs to lose, really, to be fair. It's honestly, they're 9 points clear, I think, now, and honestly, they should go on and win it. I mean, they've learned how not to lose. I wouldn't say how to win. They just know how not to lose points. You go back to when we first played them and we drew 4-4 and we were winning 4-3. We should have won it, but they just know not how to lose. They just know how to get a point when they needed to get a point. So, it's just, look, it's one of those things. They're just a team that just keeps rolling them back, and you got to look at them and envy them because they just know how to get results.
As you say, they are 9 points on top of the table with Butterham and BG's in second place on 17. Caloundra 1 point back and Maroochydore another point back. So that battle between second and fifth, it's only 2 points in it.
Yeah, it's going to be tight. I think it's like, yeah, it's a shame that finals football is not going to be there because I think, Phil, you would have a little bit with Budrum, but it would be such an entertaining final series.
Yeah, I think so. If you go back to we Budrum beat Kawana 3-1 last night, and we won their last two, and we struggled to beat Woombye last Tuesday, 1-4-3 out there, and it could have been easily gone the other way, but because they never give up. Luke was injured that game, so we were lucky in that respect. Yeah, I think it's a bit disappointing that there's no finals. I think they could have if they just maybe played 2 games.
Well, look,
each against each side.
I know most of the coaches do. Cool them now that they're out of the competition. We could easily have had a restructure and got finals in there.
Yeah, I think so too, mate. I think it's this is not having a go at the board at all. It's just like, it's we understand that they tried to just make it that they try to get football and try and get as much as we possibly can for value for money for players and stuff like that. But finals football is part of Australian heritage, and maybe it's a shame that there's not going to do it. I mean, we don't want the league to peter out just because maybe Noosa get 12 points clear and nobody's going to be able to catch them, because we want games to entertain people, and that would, if we're still playing finals football, that would definitely have more meaningful games as the season progresses, I think.
Agreed. I think it adds to the motivation as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that they've done right at the board, to be honest. I mean, I think the introduction of the rolling subs is good, I think, because of, that less injuries for players, because they weren't necessarily going to be as fit as they were after COVID. But I think that's worked to a certain degree.
I agree. They've
been there are pros and cons for what they've done this season, but I mean, I think all respect to them that they, to get football back at all after what's gone on this year is pretty good. I just think everybody's glad they were actually out there and playing.
Yeah, well, I think it's like anything. They've done well to be one of the first ones to just get it going. Get it up and running, get us going, and it's a thankless job at the end of the day. I understand from players, I understand from coaches, I understand from the fans. They love the finals, they love that, and look, it is what it is. There's not much we can do about it now. But hopefully we never have to go to a situation like this again.
That's true. Hey, we don't know yet that somebody can beat Noosa, so I think Badram went on the.
I'm putting us to win it, but like anything, it's going to take a big job. But at the end of the day, like I think we're capable of, and I want to put us in the mix. And I think if we can, I think if one team does, I think every other team around. I mean, I know Budrum would be the same. I know Maroochydore. Any sniff blood in the water, we'll go after it.
Yeah, I think so. It's Budrum, but just we just signed James Playford from the Sunshine Coast Wanderers because he was couldn't. So he's will add to the to what they've got, and worked. He played well.
Picking up Ben Parkinson was good too. He's another good player.
Well, those two worked together well last night as well. So because they played together at the Wanderers for a little bit as well. So it's just that James just couldn't get a first team gig and just wanted to play first team football, I think. So we're happy to take him on board. He's an English guy. He's got some pretty good skills. So hopefully he can be the one that sets us on a winning run again. I mean, Budrum went 5 games unbeaten at the start of the season, so there's no reason why they can't do it again to finish the season off.
You, of course, have the bye this weekend, Phil. So, but big game that sticks out is BG's up against Calandra.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel, what are your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's like anything, you just want to play against the top sides, and I think with the league the way it's set up, every those top 4 or 5 sides it's gonna be interesting. And Calandra's a difficult one. Big Ethan up top, he's strong. They got Kobe, Macca's smart in there. Forshie, they got good quality everywhere. So it's gonna be a tough game. I mean, I'm glad we're playing them at ours because I think it'll be a little bit of a different game than playing at theirs. But we scored a really good goal against them last time we played them. We played some decent football. We really second half against them last time. We played some really good stuff, nullified them, and I would have liked to get a better result. So this will be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. Kawana are hosting Noosa. You'd expect that to be a comfortable win there for the away team.
You do, you do, but like anything, you never know. I mean, you hope that Kawana get up for it and Noosa maybe come into a little bit too confident. But we can dream, can't we?
Definitely. We could say we're hoping that Kawana. They've got a few new players in their side. I mean, any team that loses the quality of players that they lost at the end of last season is going to struggle to get wins on the board. I mean, they've lost quality like Luke Ricketts, Ryan Delahunty, DJ
Ryan Smith, DJ,
yeah. So I mean, I think they lost 7 out of their grand final winning team last year. So it's not easy for them, but you never know. They'd been on a 3-game winning streak before they played us last night. So I think Daniel would agree. Anybody can beat anybody in this league. I think it's
you
have
to turn up. You have to turn up.
Yeah, it's not necessarily. Noosa is that much better than everybody else. It's like Daniel says. It's like they know how to. Kevin's got them well drilled. Kevin Ahern's got them well drilled to always keep going till the end of the match. So and they're difficult to beat. It always looks like they'll get a draw out of something. They make if they're not necessarily on their top form, they'll get something out of the game, and they manage to be able to do that.
Defensively, they're just so strong.
Mm.
They're hard to break down.
And they got Andre Janczewski, Chris's brother, who's come back and added a. I mean, he's probably.
He's an NPL player.
He's a very that's right.
The other 2 matches this weekend are Maroochydore up against Gympie and Woombai hosting Nambour Yandina. What do you think of those ones, Daniel?
I think Maroochydore win that one. I think the quality in them's too much. I mean, are they playing at Gympie or are they playing at Maroochydore?
Maroochydore.
Yeah, I think that'll be too much. I mean, I always like seeing Kai Nick's Gympie's side get up. I always have a little soft spot for him because I think they were in a situation that I was in 5 years ago, the rebuild, and I think he's done a really good job. They're a hard team to break. They're compact. And I like Billy Bowden. I like, a couple of those boys in their team are good players. But I think Marisha's got too much quality in there. And then, Woombai NYU, I mean, that could go anyway, man. NYU have some really good players and they can do some damage. And then sometimes they just don't. Like Jacob Fullick there is dangerous. It's just like Luke Alderson. I mean, he's a goal scoring machine. Alex Barlow, when he's on, can be phenomenal. But again, they're very hot and cold, and it's Woombai is the same. They beat us, they'll be up for it, and they could get beat 4-0 comfortably. And you go, oh Jesus! But you just don't know. Those 2 sides together, that could actually be a very interesting game. Good game to watch, I think. For I believe the hinterland clubs when they go battle, it's a good game.
We haven't got a game this weekend, as in Budrum, so if I wanted to go and watch a game, I think I'd go and watch that one because there's always a bit of spice between those 2 sides.
Yeah,
that's what you call a real local derby. So it's like and Cory will have his NYU fired up for that one, definitely. So, yeah, and with Luke Alderson back, I wouldn't write Mumbai off in that game for sure. They actually played really well against Budrum, and were probably unlucky to lose that 4-3. So, they're difficult side to play against, and I think any side that, like you said, Daniel, earlier, that any side with Luke Alderson in it is gonna probably score goals.
All right, let's turn our attention now to the McDonald's Premier Women and Cory. He's just gone and made himself comfortable. Hopefully he's in the right position, and he's left the conversation.
He's had enough.
Come on.
He's had
He's had
enough.
enough.
Come on, we can talk about it now.
He's back.
He's had enough. He listens to me every Tuesday, Thursday, every Saturday. He's like, I've had enough.
He's back.
The old phone was dying. So
Yeah, sure.
Just at the pivotal moment. All right, Cory, here's a big chance. Tell us about your team this season and how it's going. You're in third place, yeah?
Yeah, sitting third at the moment. Been quite a slow or inconsistent start to the season. We'd win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. We had a good run of, I think, 4 wins in a row a couple of weeks ago. And then, unfortunately, went down 1-0 to Maroochydore, but bounced back with a 7-1 win over Gympie last week. So, we got Nambour on Friday. They're a very quality side. They're tough. Really hard to break down defensively. They got very quick defenders. But we snuck in 1-0 win against them last time. So we're hoping we can be a bit more convincing this time, I think. But overall, we've been performing well last probably 5-6 weeks.
And, of course, the top of the table is a 2-horse battle between Maroochydore and Nambour Yandina. And it got a heck of a lot closer with Nambour getting a 5-4 victory over the league leaders.
Yeah, they did that last time as well. Maroochydore was up in both games, and then I guess maybe overly confident. And last 10-15 minutes, Nambour's come back strong, and Nambour's a good side. They're not a side that you can fall asleep on, or we probably went in, I guess, a little bit overconfident in the first time we played them, and we got smacked 4-1. Second time, not so much, and we got a 1-0 victory. But they're a side that you've got to compete with for 90 minutes. If you let them back in the game, they've got quality on the park that'll punish you. And I think that's happened twice against Maroochydore.
Of course, 2 points separate the top two sides, with Maroochydore holding that slender advantage. Cory, your side's 7 points back in third, with Caloundra a further 2 points back. Let's have a look at this weekend's fixtures and see what sticks out there. Caloundra against Nambour Yandina. You think NYU will be able to keep going there?
For the women's?
Yes.
We've got Nambour.
Cory. Oh, sorry. I'm a week ahead of myself there. I do apologise.
Yeah.
Cory got scared. Cory got scared. He thought he was in the wrong area.
Man, I thought we were going to Gympie.
So we've got Gympie against Mumbai, Maroochydore against Caloundra, and Nambour Yandina against BJs.
That's the one.
That's the week.
Yeah.
All right. How do you see these fixtures going?
Well, I think Maroochydore, I think, will be comfortable over Caloundra. Gympie will be comfortable over Mumbai. I think generally probably the close game is going to be between us and Nambour. Gympie's been improving a lot as well, so I think despite the score last week, they were still very, very tough and battled for 90 minutes. And Mumbai's new to the comp. I think they'll struggle a bit, and I think Maroochidore's just got the quality over Caloundra and all aspects of the park as well. Maroochidore's defence and their midfield is really their danger. If Caloundra can manage to close down their midfield and stop them from playing, with the likes of Chanel Harris up top, I think she's probably the best striker in the league, and you can't give her chances. So Maroochydore will have to look out for her, but otherwise, I think Maroochydore is going to be too strong in that game. And with us and Nambour, it's, you know, as I
Bridge
said,
that gap.
they
Gotta
tackled
bridge
us
that gap,
first
Cory.
game.
Gotta get that win
Uh-huh.
to bridge that gap.
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, you know, we've got a confident playing group, and I think you know, a good result against Gympie, and the fact that we managed to get a 1-0 victory against Nambour, we're playing away on a smaller field as well, so I think our fitness will be a major factor. We've been playing at home on the biggest park on the coast for, I don't know how many weeks now, quite a few anyway, so our match fitness is right up there. I think going to the smaller parks, our intensity will be able to lift a bit too. So I think that's going to be a major factor in our game.
And Cory, if your side doesn't get there to the top of the table, who do you fancy out of those top two is going to walk away with this league?
Personally, I think Maroochydore. Just the squad that they've got is very strong. They've got you know, a number of ex-NPL players. I mean, as do we, but they've been performing well. You know, and I think if you compare them to the men, I guess they're like the Noosa. It doesn't matter how you play against them. You can have a million chances and then they take one chance and they beat you. So, you know, they're a team that just doesn't, apart from, funnily enough, Nambour seems to be their bogey team. But I think they're going to be too strong. I think Nambour's good, but they've also dropped results against the likes of us and I think closer results with the Clounger and stuff too. So I think Maroochydore.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how this the remainder of this season plays out. If it's a foregone conclusion in the men, certainly not that case in the women. So we'll be watching with interest over the next few weeks. Gentlemen, we might leave it there. Thank you so much for your participation tonight. We've got the exclusive Sunny Coast show up and running, so we'll have some more guests next week. We might see a few of these guys back. We might see a few coming off the bench. So Daniel, Cory and Phil, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thanks, Darren. No
Cheers,
problem.
lads.
No problem.
Pleasure.
This is the Look Finance SEQFC Preview Show with thanks to Vilic Law. We'll see you next week.